Welcome to Auto Mundial, the weekly car news and review show. This time we're saying goodbye to one of Germany's most iconic sports cars as Audi reveals a limited run end-of-the-line TT.
We also have Ford's all-new F350 plus the 2023 BMW X7.
We also have a new crossover from Kia plus the new Mercedes GLC. Is it the hybrid SUV to go for? Find out later on. Up first, the news.
The European Union has approved an effective ban on all internal combustion-powered cars from 2035. The ruling, which has been approved by both the European Commission and the European Parliament, agreed that car makers must achieve a 100% cut in CO2 emissions by 2035, thus effectively banning the sale of all petrol and diesel-powered cars within the EU. The deal also requires a 55% cut in emissions for new cars sold in 2030 compared with 2021 levels, although various nations have already approved an ICE ban by 2030, including Sweden and the UK. Talks regarding carbon-neutral fuels are still ongoing, with the hope that new synthetic fuels could extend the sale of petrol cars.
This is the all-new Mercedes GLC. We promise. It may not look much different to the old car, but this is a brand new car. It's built on Mercedes MRA2 platform that it shares with the new C-Class, opening up a new world of electrification to the BMW X3 rival. Starting with the styling, the GLC's lineage is clear. It looks very similar to the old car at first glance, but look a little closer and you'll notice it's slightly bigger, while the new headlights blend into the grille. The flanks of the car have been re-sculpted and body-coloured wheel arches are now available in place of the black plastic ones found on the old car. It's 60mm longer than the old car, but ever so slightly lower. The boot space is increased by 50 litres to 600 with the rear seats in place, making this a very practical family car with an electric tailgate fitted as standard. Step inside the GLC and the changes are much more obvious. Gone is the incongruous stuck-on infotainment screen with a new C-Class style dashboard incorporating a 12-inch portrait touchscreen with the latest MBUX software. There's also a new configurable digital instrument display and an optional head-up display to help you keep your eyes on the road. The new GLC is powered by either a 2-litre petrol motor or a 2-litre diesel, each available in various different guises. All versions are available as either 48-volt mild hybrids or plug-in hybrids. Mercedes still leads the way in electrified diesel cars, and the PHEV diesel GLC 300DE could be the pick of the range. It produces a combined 242 brake horsepower and a staggering 565 mpg. WLTP tests are of course favourable to battery-assisted cars, but that's an impressive figure nonetheless.
But what else is out there? Well, if it's a hybrid premium SUV you're after, you could do much worse than this, the Range Rover Velar. Now available as a PHEV, the best looking SUV out there just became even more appealing. The same setup as found in the new Defender P400e, the Velar PHEV uses a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine paired up to an electric motor and 17.1 kWh battery hidden away under the boot floor. Altogether, the PHEV produces a healthy 398 brake horsepower, good for 0 to 62 miles per hour in 5.4 seconds. Surely though, the main point of a hybrid is economy, and while it's some way off the incredible figure of the GLC, its WLTP economy figure of 130 mpg certainly is not to be sniffed at. For those looking to do big mileage on electric only though, the Velar can manage just 33 miles on a charge before the petrol motor kicks in, although that should handle the average morning commute. There is a pair of new 3-litre straight 6 choices, both equipped with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. The first is a new 298 brake horsepower diesel replacing the old V6, capable of hitting 62 from rest in just 6.5 seconds, with an impressively low CO2 output of just 194 grams per kilometre, with a 398 brake horsepower petrol also on offer.
However, while it was easy to recommend the Velar over the old GLC, the new Merc's interior and wide selection of powertrains mean it could well be the new class leader when it arrives on the road early next year.
The Kia Celtos is a relatively new model in the US car market, but in just a short amount of time it's already become one of the Korean brand's best sellers, and with a fresh update for 2023, that probably isn't set to change. The latest additions to the compact SUV placed between the brand's Soul and Sportage models are a few new trim levels, namely the Nightfall edition, which features a number of blacked out details and tweaks to the design of various body panels. Elsewhere, more safety features now come as standard with the car, like collision and high beam assist. Aside from the all-new Nightfall edition, it's very hard to distinguish the new Celtos from its previous version from the outside. Its upright stance and lightly restyled front end give it an upmarket appearance. Based on the same platform as the Hyundai Kona, the drivetrain options are all fairly familiar. A 2-litre 4-pot paired to a CVT gearbox provides power to the front-wheel drive lower spec models, while a turbocharged 1.6-litre power plant putting out 175 brake horsepower is enough for the range-topping versions. Higher spec models also benefit from 4-wheel drive and a 7-speed automatic transmission. A 10-inch display, remote start and automatic climate control are all included in the $24,000 of the S. Complementing the large Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capable touchscreen on the dashboard is a 7-inch display behind the steering wheel and, if selected on the options list, a heads-up display, all helping to inform the driver. Despite being based on the Hyundai Kona platform, the Celtos has significantly more space inside, meaning it's perfectly capable of holding its own against compact SUV rivals such as this, the Volkswagen Taos.
Named after a town in Mexico famed for its art and historic architecture, the Taos has very much been designed with Americans in mind. Its styling is more conservative than its European equivalents, and there are no hybrid versions on offer. Instead, the Taos uses a 1.5-litre petrol motor from a Jetta, putting out 158 horsepower with 2- and 4-wheel drive versions available. Despite being the smallest SUV in the range, it is actually a little bit wider than the world market Tiguan, and its long wheelbase and tall roof make it one of the roomiest and most usable cars in its class. Rivals like the Ford Bronco Sport and the Kia Celtos may offer more style, but nothing gets close to the Taos in terms of sheer practicality. Climb inside the roomy cabin and you're greeted by typical VW build quality. It's built to last and is a noticeable step up from many of its domestic rivals. Base model S versions get decent standard kit, but it's worth stumping up an extra $4,000 for the SE, which gains a modern infotainment system and a load of safety tech as well as fancier upholstery. Volkswagen says it has no plans to bring the Taos to Europe, and with cars like the T-Cross, T-Roc and Tiguan already doing a stellar job of filling just about every crossover SUV niche, we can't say we're that surprised.
The same goes for the Kia. It's on sale in North America and Asia, but with a healthy lineup of 7 SUVs and crossovers already on offer, we think we'll be okay.
After the break, a very special Audi TT and the new Ford Super Duty.
Welcome back to Auto Mundial. Still to come, a limited edition Audi TT RS, but first...
In the land of bigger is better, it seems massive pickup trucks are still as popular as ever. While Europe heads towards an electric future, America is apparently not quite ready to give up V8s and fossil fuels just yet. The latest gas-guzzling Leviathan is this, the all-new 2023 Ford F350 Super Duty. Ford is yet to reveal all the stats and figures for its new full-size pickup, but it has said that it will deliver the highest output and biggest payload of any truck in its class. There are 4 engine options to choose from, all V8s, with 2 petrol and 2 diesels ranging between 6.7 and 7.3 litres in capacity, so it's safe to assume we can expect plenty of grunt when it goes on sale. This being a new truck from the ground up, there is of course plenty of tech. There are numerous trim levels to choose from, but the infotainment screen can be as big as 12 inches, while a new advanced blind spot warning system and digital instrument cluster should keep it competitive for a few good years to come. The styling is evolutionary rather than revolutionary, but with its big chrome grille and wide flat panels, there's no mistaking it for anything but a big Ford truck. The interior is also far from futuristic, but it's designed to be intuitive and comfortable on long journeys. Entry-level XL models will still be relatively Spartan with rear-wheel drive, but higher-spec F350s will come with all the luxuries one would expect in any new car, with options ranging from onboard telematics to Bang & Olufsen sound systems. Deliveries are due to commence in the new year, with prices likely to start around the $40,000 mark.
While it would be fair to say that the majority of BMW's current range isn't exactly inconspicuous, the Beamer that really stands out above all others is this, the enormous X7. Now with a fresh facelift, it's bolder than ever. The front end is the biggest change with the new split headlight design with illuminated kidney grills. The bumper has had a light redesign, while there's now a selection of new alloy wheel options. The rear end has been updated too, although the changes are very subtle. Inside, the new X7 has been thoroughly refreshed. It gets an impressive new curved display infotainment system sitting on top of the stylish dashboard. It's seamlessly connected to the new 12.3-inch digital instrument panel to form one big row of screens. Naturally, it's all hooked up to BMW's latest iDrive system, which can still be operated through a rotary control on the centre console. There's more standard kit than before, and some new options including the 3750 Comfort Plus pack, which adds second and third row seat heating, heated armrests and even thermal controls for the cup holders.
However, if the X7 wants to be the king of the 7-seat 4x4s, it'll need to beat this, the latest Land Rover Discovery. Like the BMW, it's recently been updated. On the face of it, the changes are initially hard to spot. It gets some new headlights and an updated front bumper with some redesigned air intakes. At the back, there are some new rear lights, while there's a whole new range of alloy wheel options to choose from. Sadly for some, the awkward-looking off-centre rear number plate remains unchanged, with the repositioned Discovery badging doing little to divert the eye. The Discovery's interior was already one of our favourites in this class, but now it's even better, with Land Rover's new Pivi Pro infotainment system on a bigger 11-inch screen, and a few styling tweaks here and there, including some new controls for the heating and aircon. The Pivi Pro system is both larger and brighter than the old one, and easier to use. The rest of the cabin remains as spacious and practical as ever, with loads of space throughout, and the nifty electric folding seats helping to make this one of the best cars out there for big families. Then there is this, the Mercedes GLS, a truly enormous car. It's among the most spacious luxury SUV out there. It looks great and has a sumptuous interior, but it is sadly let down by its lack of engine options. Unless you opt for either the V8-powered AMG model or the eye-wateringly expensive Maybach version, you're stuck with a 330 horsepower diesel.
These luxury 7-seaters are an all-acquired taste, but if you're after a premium people mover, the Land Rover is still tough to beat. The BMW offers plenty of tech and some curb appeal, but all that bling won't be for everyone.
With the news that the Audi TT will likely be replaced by an electric SUV, the legacy of the popular little sports car is seemingly approaching its end. The current model, only the third generation car since 1998, has been with us in some form since 2014, so it is feeling its age. With sales dwindling, Audi has given the TT one last hurrah with a new limited edition. Based on the top-spec TT RS, the so-called Iconic Edition will be limited to just 100 units, each boasting some exclusive features and a breathtaking £87,000 price tag. At 30 grand more than a standard RS and 20 grand more than a range-topping Vollsprung edition, the Iconic is very much a car for collectors and real TT enthusiasts. Helping it stand out from regular TTs, the Iconic Edition gets a new gloss black grille with 20-inch alloys borrowed from the RS Sport model. The biggest difference, though, is the addition of a new wind tunnel developed aero kit, which adds some canards to the front bumper and a deep splitter. At the back, there's an eye-catching fixed rear wing, providing some extra downforce. The interior has been treated to some upgrades too. The Napa leather and Alcantara seats are embroidered with Iconic Edition motifs, while yellow stitching is present throughout the cabin. Each car also gets its build number emblazoned on top of the gear lever. Nardo Grey is the only colour option, a shade that we think suits the car perfectly. Under the bonnet, the Iconic uses the same engine as a regular TTRS, a raucous 2.5-litre 5-cylinder, producing exactly the same figures as the regular car: 395 brake horsepower and 354 foot-pounds of torque sent to all four wheels. 0 to 62 is unchanged at 3.7 seconds, but the top speed takes a 1 mile/hour hit down to 174 due to the extra drag from the rear wing. An extra 30 grand for a body kit and some yellow stitching doesn't seem like great value then, especially when the standard RS is still excellent and still available to order. With just 100 being built though, and with just 11 of those destined for the UK, the Iconic Edition will no doubt be a must-have for TT enthusiasts as the final hurrah for one of Germany's most recognisable coupes.
Join us again next week on Auto Mundial as we celebrate 20 years of the Volkswagen Golf R.